Hey, what it do, what the business is.
It is another week in the books with the On Deck TV show. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown if you're looking for me on social media.
Absolutely, and I am Spike Lou on them same social sites. Holla at your boy, Saint Cold, Frost, whatever you calling it. Definitely kicked in this week, nigga.
Yeah, it's here. It's here. The 53-degree weather popped off today, nigga.
My little golf season over with.
That's
nigga.
done.
That shit
That's done.
wrap, nigga. I went outside of the day thinking it was still gonna be a little because they gassed us over the weekend. It was like it's gonna get down to 20. It was still cool. Today, nigga,
it's a wrap till next year on that though.
Wrap, Rizep. How you holding up out there though?
Man, feeling good, feeling great. Hey man, we got an action-packed episode, man. Another review. It's that time of the year, fourth quarter. The big boys like to come out. King's Disease 3, Nas and Hit-Boy, the third edition. We're gonna go through that, man. Give you guys our thoughts on how we feel about it. Also, there's another biopic in the works from a top tier, super famous rapper. We're gonna talk about if we're here for that or is it too soon. And then 21 Savage, speaking of Nas, says that he's irrelevant. We're gonna talk about that, see if he's on to something or if he's reaching a little bit. But first, rapper, actor, comedian Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, just wrapped up his final season of Atlanta. The series finale aired last Thursday. Your thoughts on the show's run, and if there was a rapper series that you would like to see next?
Amazing run by Donald Glover, man. I was all in my feelings last season because it wasn't what I wanted it to be or what I had expected out of Atlanta based on the first two seasons. But I tell you what, that nigga in that sushi restaurant on the last episode read me my goddamn rights. And I'm here for it. Like that shit was fire.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I'm talking about that last scene and that
spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it,
5 days old now. So
yeah, if you ain't seen it, man, stop it right now and go watch it. However, that scene right there kind of was a synopsis for the whole series. Like y'all niggas won't expect this to be in a box, and I'm trying different shit, nigga, and y'all won't let me live. Y'all want Popeyes, nigga. That registered with me, and I respect that. So I've definitely changed my opinion. I felt like it could have been more story oriented. I could have used the beginning, middle, and end classic story style of what happened with Paperboy and Darius and all of that stuff. That would have been dope. However, I'm glad that he was afforded the opportunity to explore, to do shit that black people usually don't get to do. It ain't no really dope bass show. It ain't really about drug dealing or anything like it. It's just different. And even though it's about a rapper from Atlanta, it's not what you expected to see on the scene. And it took me a while to get there, but I'm there, and I respect the shit out of what Donald Glover did, not holding it to the norm and taking offense for niggas trying to compare it to just regular shit, because that wasn't no regular show. No. It may have went over my head sometimes. I 100% admit that, especially with season 3. But the ending, the dream sequence, the whole thing of how it was presented, I liked it. I'm here for it, man. If I was to hear another rapper that was doing a show in a series and I was going to get excited about it, especially off of this creative lane that he was in, I would go with Kendrick Lamar. That may be low-hanging fruit, but he does a great job with the commercials. I feel like there's something there that could be tapped into. I'm going with Kendrick for mine. Who you
I ain't mad at that. I love the series. Season 3, I can understand people feeling a little lost because I was lost as well on some of it. You grow to love the characters, the main characters from season 1 and 2. So traditionally, when you're watching a show, you see the main characters on every episode. That's one thing that they taught us in Atlanta was to expect the unexpected. And I like that it kept us on our toes, whether we like the final product or some of those anthology type episodes or not. I thought they were very smart. I thought they were very creative. And I know the knock on, especially season 3 was, man, look, dude, I didn't sign up for an anthology series. I wanted to see Paperboy and them try to make it in the rap game, which I understand completely. The show is called Atlanta. If you're in London or the UK, nigga, there's no Atlanta isms in it that give it that charm that made it fun to begin with. I definitely understand that, but I still think those episodes worked. Although it was an experimentation, and I thought some worked, some didn't. But I thought this last season there was a handful of episodes I thought were top tier, in my opinion. And I think the series has classic episodes. I know the debate was between this and another rapper show, Lil Dicky, who has Dave, and a lot of people compared Dave to this. Donald Glover went up to social media when they were making these last two seasons, like, man, no disrespect to Dave, but don't compare that to this because this is something different. And I agree, this is top tier. Dave has funny moments. I can't name a classic Dave episode. I can name 5 or 6 classic Atlanta episodes. Like,
Yeah,
I'm 3 just from this season. So with all due respect to what Lil Dicky and Dave is, because that shit is funny too, this was just different. The FUBU episode is probably my favorite. I thought that was genius television. It was a story that hadn't been told before, from our perspective and how it relates to clothes and how we look at that and what that means to our culture. I thought it was genius. But if I needed to see a rapper with a series, I'm going to go West Coast too. And I think we're going to need some fun shit, some comedy. Who knows where the economy and the world is going? So we're going to need some shit to laugh at. We got to go Vince Staples. That's the layup of all layups.
That's a good one.
I think it'll be creative and funny, very similar to an Atlanta, like just on some
Cali shit.
Long
On some
Beach
Long
shit.
Beach shit.
I'm here for that, bro. Like, I'm run that back. It could be on FX, give them the green light to cuss and all of that. I'm here for it. Sign me up. But straight good run from Atlanta, man. 4 seasons seemed so quick, even though it was stretched out over about 7 damn years. But I thought that shit was great. 2 thumbs up.
Absolutely, man. And one of the things that I'll say as well, Atlanta had moments in the culture, like we always talk about with albums and things like that, whether it was Alligator Man or the Invincible Car or the FUBU episode, like you said, like it gave a different rhythm to hip hop TV. There was a different, like that surrealness to it. And that shit worked and it hit, like you said. And you may not have been here for all of it, but presented in a whole fire as far as just the creativity. And I understand now what Donald Glover mean when he was saying, hey man, like I ain't dissing Dave,
Right.
but just like Anthony Bourdain, I think his quote was Anthony Bourdain can go eat a Wagyu steak that's $1,000, and he can also go eat a smash burger from the food truck. And both of them can be good. And I ain't knocking the Wagyu steak and I ain't knocking the smash burger. They're just different types of food.
Facts.
And that's what he was saying to Lil Dicky. And it is. It's just the different type of show. The depth of Dave, like I can't get a FUBU episode from that.
Right.
And if it did, I would feel like you're trying to bite off Atlanta. It wouldn't be like what Atlanta was and how you said it was tapped into the culture. A lot of us felt that. A lot of us have been through that shit. So, and again, that was what made Atlanta fucking great. Shouts out to a great series. Hats off to you, Donald Glover.
Absolutely. I need some
Next,
music,
man.
I'm a fan of the music. I call, for the record, anybody that's been listening, I called Childish Gambino 10 years ago.
Called him what though? It's over. This is grand opening.
I said he was dope as fuck.
No more.
I'm hot about that.
That nigga finna ride off into the sunset. This nigga done retired from rap and R&B and comedy, and he ain't doing no more TV. Like, what is the nigga gonna do? Shit. Shout out to Donald Glover.
About that.
That nigga retired, but is he 30? How old is he?
Yeah, he got to be over 30.
Yeah,
I called him a long time ago. I've been rocking with him for a minute.
That's been your guy. I definitely will give you that. That nigga was your guy.
Man.
Also, speaking of our guy, man, we were raised on this dude. Snoop announced his biopic is in the works, man. There's been a lot of success in NWA, Tupac, Biggie, you name it, man. My question to you, AB, are you here for the Snoop biop? Or is it might be a little too soon?
You know what? And this looks like it's actually happening. Looks like it's a real thing. This is not a rumor mill type joint. They don't put the bag behind it. They've got the production team behind it. They got one half of the what's the guys that did Menace?
The
Hughes brothers.
Right? Mm-hmm.
One half of the Hughes brothers is behind it. One of the writers behind Black Panther is behind it. So they got the names that need to be attached. So they don't put some bread behind it. I'm here for this, dude. I don't think it's too soon. I think Snoop has a crazy story. And a lot of people forget how big of a superstar he was when he came out. You could argue he was bigger than Pac. You could argue it at their height.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Pox was cut short, obviously, but he's been through a lot, man. So to go from somebody on trial for murder to being probably the biggest superstar in terms of hip hop, and then transitioning into probably the most recognizable rapper of all time at this point, who can really do no wrong. I'm here for it. I think it's ready for it. They got the right people behind it. That's all I'm concerned about. Who behind it? Who writing it? And who's directing it? Oh, okay, we checking them 2 boxes. Okay, let's roll the ball out and let's play ball. I'm here for it.
I feel like I'm on the fence about this. I of course want to see a Snoop buyout. Like I said, one of the rappers that raised us in our generation. I just feel like that there's a lot more to the story, and I may be wrong right here because Snoop still seems so active. Like he's still right there in our face doing things. So seeing a biop about him and like seeing him tomorrow with Martha Stewart, it just rings off as kind of weird. So I would like for it to be maybe a decade from now. And who knows what else Snoop may do. I know it may not measure up to the beginning of his career in the superstardom that you're speaking to. It may not even make the movie, but it just feels like he's still too relevant to be making the biopic about. Like I want some more like just seeing Snoop and absorbing him as who he is before we start framing him as like the guy we need to make movies about. I ain't ready to be old enough to start thinking about Snoop dying and being that old where we making movies and shit about him. That's just my selfishness though. But do I want to see the biop? Absolutely. Like you said, people don't realize how big the Snoop was, or they may realize it and they see how relevant that he is now, and that's just the byproduct of how big that he was back in the day. So yeah, I'm always here for the Snoop biop. I just feel like we could give it maybe another 10 years, maybe.
Yeah, because it is strange looking at someone's story and they're still here, very much outside. But it's been done before. I mean, Eminem's 8 Mile was a good movie, and he was 2 albums deep.
Yeah,
but it was a good movie though, and it didn't feel weird. It just talked about his come up. 50 Cent movie, although it was just
the
a
time he came out,
Yeah, but he was still hot. He was on fire, and it didn't feel crazy. So it's different. They acted in it, so that's a little different.
True. I was just about to say with the 50 movie, think how it would be. I think a 50 movie would be fired now. Based around like the G Unit breakup and just some shit he went through with his son. It would be a lot better now than the cookie cutter movie that we got from
That shit wasn't nothing on the low.
It was a zero. Yeah, slick zero movie. But so that could have been a lot better. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's been done before. I just wouldn't want to miss anything big from Snoop.
Who gonna play Snoop though?
That's the question. It got to be a no name. We can't know who this dude is. I don't want to see none of the recast from somebody else's movie. Give us a brand new Juilliard.
Somebody played him in NWA, but that was who was that? It played him in
NWA. Because they did a little voiceover where it sounded just like him.
That was his voice. Damn. Oh, that was Lakeith Stanfield. That was you. Man, that's crazy.
That's funny as hell.
You played Snoop.
Did you see Lakeith playing him?
Because he had the fade, you know what I'm saying? The low, but it was cool though. It worked, but that was before we really knew who he was.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. And it wasn't a starring role either.
I forgot that was Lakeith. I don't know. I don't know if I want him to be Snoop.
No, I don't. Yeah. Because he Darius now. It's a wrap.
Yeah. He can play Prince or somebody, but he can't.
What?
That nigga would be a great Prince. I can see him playing Prince or some shit like that. I don't see no Snoop no more.
I will say, you could argue. I know they talked about the Death Row movie was supposed to be in the pipeline. Would you rather see if they called you, it was like, yo, we're gonna green light the Death Row or we're gonna green light the Snoop? We can only do one. Which one do we green light?
Let's do the Death Row, because even then you might get more fruits off that tree too. Like if Daz and Corrupt are interesting enough, maybe we at least get a dog whatever documentary, Dog Pound documentary, or maybe a Dog Pound movie, or Lady of Rage and all the other stuff that was into it. You can throw Bow Wow in there. Like there's a lot more that you could do with the Death Row movie.
What if they treated it like the Marvel shit and they had like the big, like the Death Row was like the Avengers, nigga, and they all had like solo movies? That'd be hard.
It would be hard. They need to actually find somebody. They should do that with like Rockefeller or something.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be what would be the label that you do that with? Is it Rockefeller?
For sure.
Money.
I mean, and because you could do the Rockefeller, and then you got the Jay solo, you got the Kanye solo.
You got
You
Cam.
can do the Philly solo with Beanie and Young Guns.
Yeah, you got Cam them
and then
coming
Cam?
in. Facts. And you can even do a Dame Dash one. Yeah.
That'll be hard.
50 need to pick that up and go and create that universe.
That'll be because
that would be the next
same
series.
actors and shit.
That should be the next series though. Like the Bite Off Power, if you creating a universe, create one around like the record label where you get the different spinoffs, right? That'll be hard. Absolutely, you're right.
Man, that'll be hard. Next up, man, 21 Savage, fresh off of his new release, his #1 project with Drake. Them numbers came in looking crazy. He was in an interview and they started talking about 90s hip hop, and the subject of Nas came up, and he said, quote, he feels that Nas is irrelevant, but he has a loyal fan base and makes good music. Does he have a point, or did that sound like a backhanded compliment?
I wonder what he thinks relevant and irrelevant is. This is crazy to me. However, yeah, it's a backhanded compliment. And I feel like that hip hop is one of the few genres that we let younger generations get away with this. You're not talking about, and I'm not being disrespectful here, you're not talking about an E40 or Scarface, like niggas or Joe Buttons who've actually retired and you could really question their relevance. You're talking about a nigga that just dropped an album this week. Yeah. And questionably, you could argue he is one of the best rappers ever. So to be clear, 21 Savage, you're calling a nigga irrelevant who's still rapping, who's arguably the best person to do what you're doing. That nigga created a whole wave. And again, I had to be schooled on this because it was before my time.
Facts, me too.
And the old head told me, he was like, nah, Lou, you got to understand, when Nas put that Illmatic out, like niggas wasn't even rapping like that. Like it was up the hippity hop, or it was going super fast. So in a way, 21 Savage is relevant because Nas changed flows and styles and made it possible so a nigga like him can come on there, start mumble rapping and grow into what he's grown into. So I just think it's disrespectful for someone like him to even consider that and say that out loud. You can say that talking around with your homeboys and we joking, but you want a nationally publicized interview, you're supposed to be promoting this culture that you in, and you don't do it that way. I hate that it falls on the younger generation to do so, and they just fumble it so much. You couldn't dare get a younger, like you get a young rock band and say, hey man, U2 is irrelevant. Or the Rolling Stones, they're irrelevant. Like they wouldn't dare say that. Because just like the Rolling Stones and U2, Nas can go sell out wherever he wants to right now. It's fucking Nas, dude.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that the younger generation, and we see this sometimes in basketball, I'll say too, they try to discredit because it's not popular to them right now, the work that was put in. And I don't have to be popular right now to be relevant. I made this shit work for you, nigga. This is the reason that you standing here right now today. So I would say to 21 Savage, man, put some respect on Nas' name, bro.
Yeah, it's the people get this confused all the time, man, with the whole relevancy. And that's a young nigga argument. People talking about who's relevant, who's not. Real niggas don't give a fuck about that shit. Look, the thing is, Nas has reached a status to where his quote unquote relevancy doesn't matter anymore. He's etched in stone. Like
I'll forever be relevant, nigga.
He will forever be relevant. He's hit legendary status, so it doesn't necessarily matter if people are talking about him today. Nigga, Ice Spice is relevant. If you want to, what does that mean?
Yeah, nigga? Exactly. Tekashi was relevant at some point.
That's what I'm saying. It in the grand scheme of things, if you've been paying attention to this game long enough, you know that doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything because niggas be here today and gone tomorrow, be hot today and on milk cartons next week. So I think he used a poor choice of words. Because when people hear irrelevant, they hear insignificant. And it makes it look like you're downgrading his status, even though he followed that up with he has a loyal fan base, which he does, and he makes good music, which you could say he does. The fan base would agree with that. So just say it's not for you. I got my hair cut the other day, and I was like, bro, you checking Nas out? And dude is much younger than me. He was like, nah, man, that's a little bit before my time. It's a little too New York for me, and it's before my time. It's about the generation before me. I was like, oh, that's fair. And if 21 Savage would have said that, that would have been a respectable answer. Like, that's a generation before me, and that ain't for me. That's Facts. It. But I respect, but this is what the young nigga said at the barbershop. He's I respect what he done did, but it's before my time. And That's it. Don't say he irrelevant, nigga. That doesn't matter. Who are you, academics? He been hanging around academics too much, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that
because
type
you
of
can't.
talk.
There's no way that you question the nigga relevance. Like Nas saying on some of these songs, bro. I look younger than half y'all niggas. First of all, I'm coming in here like what are we basing the relevance on, my nigga? I got more money than you. I can rap better than you. I probably can get better bitches than you. So what are we basing the relevance? If Nas really wanted to be petty and come out and be like, look, you little young nigga. But again, I ain't arguing for relevance if I'm not, so this shit go right over my head because I am that relevant. Like irrelevance is me not even mentioning this nigga to 21 Savage and asking you is he relevant.
Right.
Like it's like with Jordan. Like a nigga can say, "Oh, I ain't never watched
That's the
Jordan,
same.
this and that, and the third." But my nigga, look at your jersey. That Airman jump right there. You ain't gotta never watch a Jordan video, know a shot of nothing, bro. But you got the shoes on, you rocking the clothes, and if you ain't, your teammate is. Same thing with Nas. Like, bro, I built this. I'm part of the foundation for this shit.
That's like there's a class of people. That's like saying Mike Tyson is irrelevant. Like
right. Yeah, right.
That doesn't make sense, bro. What? Niggas think they hot. They Billboard #1 their whole life, but that's not how it works, bro.
Coming off of an album with Drake, it's easy for a nigga to slip and say that too, though.
For sure. Like I should do some. That's a fact. That's fair.
I'm out here with Drake. We did like, okay, we get it, my nigga, but you're wrong. And I just wish that the pushback was there in the room with people more so when this happened. The person doing the interviews, like I know it's 21 Savage. I know it's a good look for the platform that he was on. However, in order for our culture to continue to progress the way that it needs to, statements like this can't just be floated out. Like there needs to be an interaction right there.
I agree. I think he would have cleared that up too, because I don't think he meant no disrespect. To be
exactly. And if I think he had been pressed more, he would have came around and be like, okay, yeah, irrelevance the wrong word.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. I do, because he don't come off like that. I mean, he rapping the gangster shit, but he don't come off like that in an interview like there's no dickhead ass nigga like that. Real quick, did you see the King's Disease show he doing in MSG? He performed in King's Disease 1, 2, and 3 at MSG. One night only.
Should be fire.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. Should be fire.
With
friends, so that'll be dope.
Oh, with friends too?
Yeah. That's hard.
I fuck with it tough. All right, before we get into the review of the King's Disease 3, last quick hit, AB, Hip Hop Homicides premiered. Your man Van Lathan on there doing his thing. I want to know, how much did you like the show when you checked it out, and what episode are you anticipating the most?
So we talked about one TV show, Atlanta, and it being completely different from what we expected. This is the opposite of that. The Hip Hop Homicide show, which 50 Cent is behind, it's another one of those, it kind of follows in the vein of Who Shot Pac? How did Easy really die? We searched the globe to see, we talked to this. So it's a little dramatic. It's got Van Lathan hosting it. To me, he's a little out of his element. I think he's dope, but in this, it's not the perfect fit, in my opinion. I watched a little bit of the one about Pop Smoke's murder, and then I watched a little bit of one about King Von. And it was okay. I didn't really learn anything that I didn't know already, but it just, I'd be interested. You asked which one I'd be looking forward to. There's one about Soulja Slim. I wouldn't mind checking out just for nostalgic purposes. But the show itself, I was kind of rolling my eyes a little bit when they announced that this was coming out. I don't understand what it's supposed to solve, or they're not actually really trying to solve nothing. Let's be honest. They're not really trying to solve Pac and Big, bro, with the 10 pieces of content that they put out with that shit. Like, stop trying to mask it as you're trying to get to the bottom of shit. Like, to me, that's kind of corny. But this is a little too dramatic for me, although I probably will check out the Soulja Slim episode.
I'm here for this, man. I like this genre.
It's like true crime, but it's just not as well
I like
done.
Van Lathan. However, I do think that he just don't sell it well enough for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I watch Dateline and shit like that. A dude like Keith Morris and that white dude, he sells
shit out of that shit.
And I know Van is still new to it and still getting his footing upon him for it. I just wish that there was somebody who seemed like they were more into this. Like Van, I could tell like more things interest him, like comic books and Marvel movies and things like that. It seems like he's into that more. That being said, I like this show. I like the fact that not even to solve it, just having the conversation around it, because that's what we have with stuff like Serial. And then you see what happened with Adnan Syed being released. People have conversations, people become their own detectives, and you get these Reddit communities online, and it's just more light on some of these issues. And I think the way that we start getting them solved in the future, or make sure that they happen less, like we were just talking about with the takeoff situation, is people have to know that the information will get out there. You won't just get away with it. There's so many unsolved murders in hip hop that we see all the time. And if you have a show like this where people would have to be a little more apprehensive about committing crimes because they think that they may get caught and may come back on them, maybe that can save some of our hip hop stars. So I'm here for it. I think it could use some work. I do think that,
For
like
sure.
you said, but I am here for that. I like the conversations had around it. I like the type of interest that this creates, and it humanizes the hip hop people more so. Like, it humanizes a King Von. Like, you don't just see or hear the raps and what they try to portray him as. You get to see some behind the scenes shit again that adds to maybe this not happening as much in the future. So I'm here for it.
Have you noticed, speaking of King Von, have you noticed that when people, especially you notice with this last situation with Takeoff, when they reference senseless violence and things that have happened, they mention Dolph, they mention Pop Smoke, they mention XXX, they skip right over King Von. People don't mention that no more. Have you peeped that? Like, because if we're being honest, out of all of those people, he was the one that
he went
initiated
smoke.
He initiated the situation, and then things have come out since that haven't put him in necessarily the best light. If you saw that those charges got dropped against Dirk, it was said that if Vaughn was here, the charges would have been on him because new evidence suggests that it was him. So, like, you don't really see a lot of the Vaughn name being brought up in those conversations of artists getting killed. You hear the usuals, Dolph, Nipsey. They skipped right over that, though. I thought that was interesting, but they still did the episode on it, and there was some interesting things in there, man. But it's on WeTV, dude. So, like, I can only expect but so much. Let's be honest. But I'll check out that Soulja Slim joint, though. I'll fuck with that.
Yeah, I want to see that Soulja Slim. To answer that question about which one I'm anticipating, that there was a lot of mystery surrounding that death, especially, like you said, for nostalgic purposes, and we didn't have as much access to as many things back then. So I'm definitely looking to see what new information they found on it. I agree with that Soulja Slim episode 100%.
Man, y'all let us know. Are y'all checking for that hip hop homicide or no? And if so, anybody on there that you want to check the episode out on? There's some interesting people on there. Next up, man, like you said, Nostradamus, God's son himself, dropped his third installment in the King's Disease series exclusively with Hit-Boy. Just announced maybe a week or two ago, not too long ago. What was your expectations going into this? We already kind of talked about where we were as Nas fans. We got put on just a tad bit late.
Yeah.
Not too late, just a tad bit late. So what was your thought process with 45-year-old Nas in the new album?
I was kind of scared. 40, how much?
I think Nas might be 49, though.
Oh, fucking way.
Hold on. I got to look that up. Let me fact check that.
I was kind of scared while you fact checking that, man, as far as
49.
Whew. It's a lot. This is over with the King's Disease and the Magic, and then even going back to the Nasir. It's damn near as many projects as the man came out with in his prime.
Facts.
So it was kind of like, is he just doing too much, or is it just going to be the quality that you need it to be? That being said, he hadn't really missed. Like, it's been Nas. It ain't been no funny shit other than the Kanye one, and that wasn't really that bad. Like, people give that a worse rap than I think it really deserves. Yeah, so it wasn't that bad. I read some stuff on it today where people were talking about how he sent them to beat lates and he was recording shit in the car, had Nas hot. As far
as that how it sounded, if he was recording shit in the car,
it goes to his greatness.
Man, come on, no.
And they said these niggas were still recording on the way to the listening party.
Yeah, that's what?
How they did that. One, how the fuck did they do that? I've never heard of the mobile studio, but maybe I'm late. Maybe I'm late on that. But like, there was some. It's popular this shit on Kanye nowadays. We know.
Yeah, for sure.
But to your point though, that album wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
let's get that certified right now. So when you're talking about expectation, and I seen the King's Disease 3, I kind of raised an eyebrow, like, oh no, kind of gave him the rock eyebrow, wondering would he continue to be able to put out at the level that we saw with the King's Disease, Magic, and Nasir. What'd you think?
I was here for it simply because I wish Hit-Boy would have been born 10 years prior, dude. So we could have got some of this around the time when he was dropping the double disc and some of the other bullshit albums that I don't necessarily rock with. The whole knock on Nas was, man, if he can only get them beats together, if he could, that's why people were so excited about the Kanye project, which may have led to some disappointment. I can understand that, because they were like, nigga, finally, he finna lock down with a goddamn A++ producer, and it may not have met those expectations, which is fine. But these projects have, and so even I remember when the first one came out, we're kind of like, man, do Nas really still got something to say? And he does. Like, even after listening to this, I'm like, nah, he's still in that space, dude. I like some of the bars from the last couple about the tech. Used to have a tech on the dresser, now I'm making money off tech and Tesla. And that's the type of talk I aspire to do, dude. I'm hearing all that. I'm here for all that.
Real grown man contemporary shit.
It's grown man contemporary rap, a nigga that made it. We've seen the progression over the years. This is in the house music and exactly where you can find AB at, in the crib. And so this is exactly what I'm here for. It works for me. So I'm here for this type of music. I'm here for all of it. The Drake and 21 is probably more outside music. This is more inside. I'm here for both, and I was satisfied when I listened to it.
Yep. As you just eloquently stated, this is the type of music for our generation, our genre right now. Like, this ain't riding out on the ops. This ain't spinning the block. And that's cool. Like, you guys can do that, and you can spin the ops, and you can spin the block and have your ops. That's all right. I'm listening to this Nas talking about the first time that he heard this and the beefs with Pac. I still send text messages to Jay-Z like, nigga, I could have got, like, that shit is fascinating to me.
That was hard.
Yes, absolutely. This nigga is 49, like, still putting out relevant, interesting bars. Like, this is what Nas do. And like you said, one of the great things, I wish he had found Hit-Boy a long time ago, bro, because this makes Nas music more digestible for a nigga like me. I'm not the biggest Nas fan. Like, he can get real wordy, it can get real boring, for lack of a better word. However, Hit-Boy keeps him versatile, keeps him with different sounds. He get in different pockets. There's some soul, which I love when he do the soul samples and shit like that. That's what Nas needed, the versatility to give you different layers of him on albums. So, like you said, as going through it, listening to it, hearing some of the bars, he had some shit that made me laugh out loud and things like that. This is what I'm here for. This is 100% what I'm here for.
Yeah, and then I seen the track list, no features. This is literally just Hit-Boy. This is just him and Hit-Boy locked in the yo. And man, it makes me wish more people would do things like this. Because I think Jay could pull something like this off.
I don't. That was gonna be part of my conversation. No, this is a feather in Nas's cap when niggas is talking about the best rappers ever. Like, Jay-Z can do a 444 and drop out for 6 years at this age. And I don't know if it speaks to his rapping ability or just him like, Jay-Z is just a different person from Nas. It ain't as much about rap, though he's really good at it, as it is for Nas. I feel like Nas can get in there, and because this is what I do, and I'm not into partnering up with Jeff Bezos and possibly buying an NFL team, and I ain't trying to do Rock Nation. I'm going to keep all of that side stuff manageable, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go in here and body niggas on Hit-Boy beats, because I can do that once a year. I'm not sure if Jay has the mindset for that. That's like, he's just too big. Like, it's too pause for him to be in there. Like, I'm gonna go in here and give you a series for the next 4 years. I just feel like Jay shit may be a little more complex and take a little bit more thought. Cause look at 444. Facts. Like, that's still shit on there while I'm listening to it. I'm like, damn, I ain't really. And not to say Nas shit is simple. Right. It just seems like it comes easier for him. It seems like Jay-Z got to go to a different place, and we know about him letting his hair grow out and just what he has to tap into to get an album to us. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I would love it. I would love to see it, like you're saying. I would love to see Jay try it, but I don't think he could do like Nas has done over these last 4 or 5 years, this late in his career.
Yeah, but like you said, this has added a new. This is like I'm trying to think of a player or someone who just has breathed more life into a career. Because that was at a certain point, it was kind of like we thought Life is Good was it.
That was it.
Okay, cool. That was it.
Retirement,
end it
dope
right
album
there.
to go out on.
Fire project. We don't need to hear no more. And then you get him with the Kanye. You're like, okay, now that I'm okay. We can do that. Him locked in with a producer. That may or may not have worked depending on who you ask. And so to try that again 3-4 times, I didn't see that coming. And I'm glad that he decided to, because I think it works.
Right. And see it 3 or 4 more times and be happy with it. Like, I'm completely cool with these. I ain't saying that they're classics or they're not better than Nas in his prime or anything like that, but these are albums that I would expect to hear from a nigga who used to be considered the best rapper ever.
Right.
Like,
he's aging gracefully. He hasn't lost a step.
Absolutely. He ain't lost a step. There's some pockets that he can get in on some, I wouldn't call it young boy shit, but it's still hip. Like, it's still relevant to the sound of today. And he can get in those pockets, take care of it, and get up out of there and get back to being Nas. So great job by Nas. I would have never expected this. I would have never had this on my bingo card. Nas at 49 putting out an album with Hit-Boy and us being like, yeah, I'm fucking with that.
And let's be clear, we know Jay is, and I know Jay and Nas is going to be the comparison until the day we die. They're just fair or unfair, but Jay is definitely more of a business minded person. Although, don't sleep, Nas' investment game is crazy too. Yeah. He just doesn't necessarily lead with that the same way that a Hove does. So yeah, I'm with you. It's more about the art. Nas would do this album for free. Honestly.
He just ain't about to buy an NFL team. Like, he gets off in his investments, but he ain't in consideration to buy the Commanders.
So, right, exactly. You think that's gonna happen?
Yeah, I feel like the Jay-Z, that's what the plays were for. Like,
yeah, we've been saying that for a while.
Facts. We've been saying it, and the position has presented itself. Bezos got the money. Jay-Z could be the face.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that could happen 100%.
I do too. What joints on here stood out, or what things stood out to you on this KD3?
What I love about this, like I said, the versatility that Hit-Boy brings to Nas. And what I mean by that is Nas even mentioned on here how we would speak to him picking terrible beats, which is a thing. Like, even he said it again.
Yeah, that was fun.
With Hit-Boy, I get my style. I may not like the New York shit because they definitely add that in here to some of the hooks. It's too beboppy for me. But that soul shit that you get Nas on, reminiscent of Project Windows, which is probably my favorite Nas song.
Yeah,
that's the pocket that I love. I can put up with the other shit.
Yeah,
and sometimes you even mix both of them on the same song. You get the beboppy hook, and then I get the soul shit when he's ripping it. So shout out to Hit-Boy for that. Those are the things that stood out for me and what I like. And in song form, at Reminisce, soul sample,
one.
Banging.
That Mary J sample.
Man, listen.
Yeah, it's banging.
Legit. That was banging to me. The Serious interlude, I'm on Fire, and Once a Man, Twice a Baby. Those were my favorite tracks as far as what stood out. All of them were kind of soulful, reminiscing tracks, like the one that I quoted, but all of them were going through a thought process that I just like to hear from a 49-year-old successful Black man. Like, I want to hear that. Like, you talking about the investments, talking about your path to the top and some of the things that you dealt with, all of those songs that I named. He's giving us stories and adding, like you said, for us, we looking for this type of shit. We want to know the path that you took, and you don't get to hear that everywhere, especially from a rapper as good as Nas. So I thoroughly enjoyed the things that he was talking about in the soul samples on the song. What about you? What stuck out?
I really liked, I like Michael and Quincy, especially when the beat switched. I thought that really worked, and he was ripping that with the Michael Jackson references. That shit was hard.
Facts.
That was tough.
And
I liked
Quincy Jones was.
Yeah, he was spitting on there. I like that WTF shaking my head too. That second half of that as well, I thought was strong, and I like that beef. I thought that was a dope story. He really hasn't, off the top of my head, jumped into a deep story bag in a while. So I thought the beef was really dope because he was speaking from the perspective of beef, the same way he did with the gun and all that type of stuff. So I thought that was really cool. And plus it sounded really good in the whip too. Like, there's a lot of deep 808s in that beef. It should sound good as hell. If you ever listen to Ka, I definitely recommend that. And I really like the bonus track too. That Till My Last Breath. That song is banging. Like that. I was like, damn, like that motherfucker was strong too. I love the chemistry that they have. I love the idea of no features and just one producer. I think that's super dope. And it shows you can drop something like this and it still be powerful. They've been in the studio for the last 3-4 years, dude. Nothing sounds stale. Nothing sound like something they ever done did.
Something
like,
they did 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, like it just works, man. It's cool to see Nas I would say rejuvenated, but he's been doing this the last 3-4 years, so I can't even say that no more. But those are what's work, man. If I had to go into something that I wasn't really feeling, there's a couple joints. I think Hood to Hood really didn't move me like that. And Recession Proof really didn't move me like that. And I think it was one more. I think the Get Light, I wasn't really feeling that. It was a little more up tempo. That's one of them ones I feel like if I was raised in a Bronx or something, I probably would fuck with it, but it didn't resonate with me though. What about you?
For me, it was the I'm on Fire. It wasn't a lot for me.
Party and bullshit.
Yeah, see, I'm
or whatever. That might have been Get Light. I don't know. I'm getting confused.
And that anything that had that like beboppy New York shit, like I didn't write the ones down. I think that 30 was one of them. But anything that was just like too boom bappy.
That 30 was banging. You might be talking about that Thun. That 30
Thun is what I'm talking about. Maybe that's the wrong one. Thun is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah, just anything that was beboppy and too much. But that's Nas, though. I wasn't surprised by it. That's been my thing with him his whole career. But I mean, he mixed it up very well as far as giving me what I wanted and still staying true to what Nas is. So if I had to pick a couple, it was that Thun and the New Yorkie shit that really just didn't work for me. What about you?
Yeah, no, I gave mine. I can respect that. I think, but overall, still, man, I was impressed. Again, I really out of all of the projects they've done, I really like that Magic. I know it's crazy. This is the one with the least amount of songs. It was damn near EP. Magic stood out the most to me, man. So I kind of compare it to that one. If I had to give it a rating, and it sucks that we got to do this 3 days after it's been out. So our shit is always subject to change. I'm gonna say 3.5. It's banging. But that is subject to change, and it might pop up on my top 10 at the end of the year. Ain't no telling. But today, I'm going to go 3.5. It is banging, without question.
Yes, after a couple of listens, I'm right there on the same page as you. This is like the third one in a row we've agreed with, I think. But yeah, 3.5 banging. Definitely should be listening to this, especially if you're of our era. This 100% should have your ears for at least an hour when you're trying to debate what albums made it through the top 10 albums of the year. Nas did his thing on this. I'm glad, again, that we are able to get this contemporary style rap from a nigga who was successful and made it and able to talk and articulate those things in a way that we could digest it. So standing ovation.
He's spitting too, man. Like, he's spitting.
That nigga still can rap. Like, he's still rapping, man.
Yeah.
All that washed up shit when they talk about, like, all the old head niggas is mostly still rapping.
For the most part.
Good ones that could rap in the first place.
Yeah, that's a fact. Y'all let us know what y'all think about that King's Disease 3, man. Are y'all on board with what we thought? Is it overrated? Y'all not really feeling it? Or you're not checking for Nas at all? Let us know. Wins or losses coming up. Is this a win or a loss? Meek Mill was courtside at the 76ers game and accidentally tripped a referee. Win or loss?
Big boy L for Meek Mill, man. I'm hard on Meek Mill on this show. Y'all know that. Bruh, like, Hove was joking, bruh. Hove was joking. If y'all are familiar with the line in New York with Cam courtside, so close I can trip a referee, bro. Act like you got some sense when you courtside, my nigga. Not
he was reclined like he was in the Maybach.
Yeah, like, bro, what are you doing? Dude, these niggas is playing baskets. A nigga running back and forth in front of you. I just hate that Meek Mill make headlines for everything but music, bro. Like, come on, dude. What you doing?
Oh, shit. Nah, that's a W because it's a flex.
No.
Because this nigga was literally sitting close enough to trip a referee. That's just fuck that. That's a flex.
That's some slow ref shit. You got to put him out the game and everything. What you doing, dude?
He tripped the shit out of the ref.
Nigga, get the fuck out of here, nigga. The bigger courtside flex was Khaled, though. Did you see him?
Yeah, when he had the shoes
on the pillow.
For
the shoes is hard. That's hard.
The shoes are trash, though.
The shoes may be trash, but the pillow game for the shoes courtside was hard.
That's funny as fuck.
It was. Only Khaled.
Absolutely. Even though I am looking forward to this Meek though. I'm
I don't
looking forward
believe
to this
that.
Flamers 5. I'm not gonna lie.
I do not believe that. The
I
album
think he's
cover
gonna
tell me.
surprise some people.
The album cover tell me everything I need to know.
Album cover was trash.
Tell me everything I need
Album
to
cover
know.
was
Dude.
trash.
5 flame emojis.
He tried to do the
What?
he tried to do the Drake
Tried to do the
emoji
Drake.
cover.
Yeah,
like, no,
stop, bro. Like we seen this with the CLB and it was funnier with the
Yeah,
pregnant
no.
people. Like, stop.
Winner lost to 21 Savage. He claims no one in his freshman class can beat him in a versus.
Man,
if you need to know who was in his freshman class, Kodak Black, Designer, Lil Uzi Vert, to name a few. Not a bad class.
no, it's not a bad class
right?
at all. He got songs with bigger stars, so he would watch in the verses because he just got bigger songs. I'm not sure if he's got the best catalog though. I don't know if he could say that. He might win in the verses, but I think maybe Kodak can go with him when we talking about songs. What do you think?
Well, it's a cheat code because he can pick off 7 off of this last
Cole, like, bro, stop. He got stars with all the big dogs, so he gonna win the verses easy.
So again, he's riding high off this project. But no, I do think him and Kodak, if we're counting features, maybe you could throw Uzi in there. But everybody else though, like Designer, bro.
I don't even know why he spoke up.
Why you even turn your phone on to fix your face to even comment on this? Anderson .Paak was on that cover too, but still, with all due respect,
is that
the case?
Is Anderson .Paak the nigga to do the shit with leave the door open? That ain't him, is it?
No.
What's that nigga name?
That's a Brody. I mean, that's a
I can't even think.
I just lost Silk Sonic, man. I just lost a nigga name.
What is their names?
That's Bruno Mars, and no, that is Anderson .Paak. I'm tripping.
That is, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
One don't want no smoke there.
Yeah, that's true.
No smoke with Anderson .Paak. That's funny.
That's a sleeper.
Facts. He might can be wash that whole little class up, dude. And they got songs of Smokey Robinson and everything.
Yeah, that's true. He might be the sleep. He don't want to need to be speaking up if anybody.
Facts.
Last one, man. Winner lost to Future, who has. This was meant to be a rumor, but it is actually and factually true. He changed his last name to Cash. Is this a win or loss?
This is a W for the effort that Future has to put in to make news. Like, all this nigga ever has to do is like retweet something with an emoji, release a rumor that I'm changing my last name to Cash, put a LOL out on top of a picture, like, and it just goes viral. So shout out to Pluto, man, being able to make the masses move with doing literally nothing to get this. So I guess if he want to call himself Future Cash, man, who am I to call him wrong?
Nah, this is an L.
You hate this?
It's an L. Come on, man. He changed his name. His name is now Nevadius Demond Cash. Okay.
Now you got to change your whole name though. Like,
my
name has
to
to be Future Cash. Future Cash fair. Is killing. It can't be whatever you just said. That ain't it.
I seen Wack 100 claim that he chased Future down in an airport due to an unpaid debt.
How long ago you think that was? When was the last time you think that Wack and Future were in the same airport?
I mean, it could be LAX. That's not out of the question.
Bro, Future I couldn't see Future riding commercial within the last 5, maybe 7 years. And I know Wax ain't got no private plane money.
He claimed that Future owed Trick some money. And so Wack 100, Trick and Big U were close. And so they saw him and then he tried to He's like, oh, yo, don't remember that? And he said Birdman tried to intervene. So this nigga just named like 9 niggas.
I was gonna say, damn, was everybody at that airport? Like, what? Nigga, airport was at the club when they was taking off from the cotton room. What the fuck? No, I mean, I just don't get no credence to what Wack said. Maybe it did happen, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Wack just been doing too much shit. I seen him get to arguing with our boy in Clubhouse, man.
He just want to argue.
He handled that really well too. Grant Cardone. Grant handled that really well.
Yeah.
Because Wack, if you listen to that, y'all, they got the Grant and Wack got to arguing about some
on Clubhouse.
Yeah. Wack pulled somebody his ass that Grant really handled well, and he was like, "So you don't do business with the KKK?" Like that was out of nowhere. And Graham was like, no, what? What are you talking about, dude? No. So yes or no, you don't do business with the KKK. And he was like, no, I don't. Oh, okay. I was just making sure. So where did you get that from to make sure?
Man, bro. That's why I don't be paying attention to that shit.
I tell you whack shit with a grain of salt, man. Maybe he did, but Future got enough money to pay him twice over. Future can employ him.
He literally just cashed out for about $80 million.
Yeah, like Future can employ you tomorrow, bro. So you may have, if you had to chase him down for money, that say more about you than him. That just means he don't respect you, my nigga. Yep. I wouldn't have told nobody that because Future got it. I promise you, he do. Got it. Nigga changed his last name to Cash.
What he don't got?
Yeah, he did. He changed his last name to Cash just to troll you. Then. Yeah, nigga, I got your money. Matter of fact, call me Mr. Cash, nigga, and I ain't gonna never give you your money, nigga. How about them apples, Mr. Gangster?
Oh shit. Hey man, on Decker of the week, going to YouTube, man. Shout out to the review we did last week for Her Loss. Cotton Does It, our guy. He said, how are y'all not gonna mention the hit Spin About You and not like Treacherous Twins? Treacherous Twins is some slaw. And Spin About You is, I do like that song though. That's probably going. Yeah, if I was outside more, I'd have a little bit of a better perspective, Cotton, but I'm indoors right now and it's Nas. But I believe you, it is probably a hit. It is probably going up for sure. Yeah, it's
the DJ ears and Cotton. I respect it. I know you probably play that at a party and it's going to go up. So I respect that.
One more 100%. Real quick off of the Tupac B-Sides episode, LFX Media. I'm going to give y'all the greatest Pac B-side of all time.
Uh-oh.
He said in 1991, his first album had 3 Brenda's Got a Babies on it.
Oh.
Three hits. I'm sorry. Brenda's Got a Baby, When My Homies Call, and Trapped. He also has a B-side song called Violent. That song brought up as inspiration for a Texas teen killing a Texas state trooper in 94. Fellas, go give it a spin. It's the dopest Pac B-side of all time. It's called Violent. I'm not familiar with that. I'll check it out.
I vaguely remember that story, but about the Texas stuff, but I'm definitely going to check that out. Appreciate that.
What you got to put me on, man?
I have a brand new TV show that I came across on Peacock. Well, actually, it's not brand new. I seen the first season and didn't realize that a second season was out. They do that, and there's so much TV now. You'll look up and be like, "Damn, I didn't know the next season was out."
Facts.
However, it's a British thriller, drama, mystery. It's called The Capture. It's about them manipulating like CCTV over there. It's really good. I think I did season 1 as a put on too. So season 2 is out. It's only 6 episodes. You'll fly right through them. It's one of those you can sit there and watch it. You can have it playing in the background. You won't miss a lot. It's definitely a decent show for the streaming era. It's called The Capture. So
no doubt. I can respect that. Mine is light. It's an interview. Check out Wallow on Big Facts. I really like Wallow. I'm a fan, even though I don't watch $1 million worth of game too often. But I do like Wallow's personality. He's on there dolo. So there's no, with all due respect to Gilly, Gilly likes to joke and cut in, and that's not there. It's just Wallow, just talking facts. He's got some pretty good quotables in that. I've seen several clips.
Is the girl interviewing him or is it Big Bank? Was all of them?
It's all of them. It's just Wallow not there with Gilly. So that was pretty good. My second put on is Black Panther 2, guys. I recommend going and seeing it. I enjoyed it. A lot of people were complaining it was a little too long. Long movies don't really bother me as long as I'm entertained. And I was entertained in this. I thought they did a good job. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. This nigga was tasked with the impossible. If y'all don't know, he already had Black Panther 2 written, and then Chadwick died. He had to rewrite it, redo it, because you can't delay a Marvel movie, nigga, because it's all linear. There's things that lead up to other things. So if you delay one thing, you got to delay like 8 Disney Plus shows. And nigga, that's too much money on the line. So he was forced
I didn't know that. So they made him rewrite it under the time frame of that.
Yeah, exactly. So even on top of all of that, I still thought it was dope as hell. So I thought
that was a good movie. Yep, I too tapped in this weekend. I'm not the movie buff as you are going every week, but I definitely had to come out and support this. It was dope. I like the fact of how black it was. Like they play into the black shit. They don't shy away from it. Like there are black moments in there where like only black people get, and it's funny as hell, and I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a good ass movie.
I thought the villain was a savage, though. He was
Mexican
hard.
Dude or whatever he was. He was a beast. He did a good job with the little wings and shit. That whole thing I was there for it.
Shit. Hey man, y'all let us know. Leave comments what y'all thought about the KD3. Has anybody else seen Black Panther? Y'all tapping in with it, and let us know what y'all thought about the Atlanta series finale as well. Hit that like and subscribe. YouTube.com/OnDeckTV. Anything else before we get out of here?
That's it, man. I will be in for a review on Black Panther this week, so man, check me out on socials. I'll put a link up there for it. May have you tap in with us as well, man. Wait till you get a word back on it. But yeah, the Black Panther review coming this week too. Tap in. We appreciate you joining the On Deck TV show.
We out.
Yep.